Good morning. Okay. Welcome to our January 2025 calendar page launch. Just give everyone a few minutes to locate the video and then we'll get started. Hello, hello. How's everyone doing today? Cooper says hello. I locked him out of the room though. Another snowy day. Karen says she likes the page already. You haven't seen anything yet. This is just stuff, but it is a fun one for sure. Yeah, another snowy day here. I was already out and shoveled the driveway. Well, part of it. Hubby's going to finish the last. Ah, Lynn's on her planning time. And Shelby's here. Okay, we're going to get started. I don't want to keep everyone too long. Oh, Cooper's right at the door now. We're gonna ignore him. we're gonna keep him out there. So, yes, we are kicking off another year. So 2025, this is the January page. And pretty much the same format as last year. We're going to, have a bundle and there'll be add-ons. You can kind of choose your journey. I did change up a few things for this year, but mostly it's the same. So, are you guys ready to see the layout? This is your bundle. We'll come back to this. And then I'll just show you the layout first, and then we'll come back to the bundle and what is included and the add-ons, etc. Okay, so here we go to kick off January 2025. Here is our layout. So we used the Simple Stories Simple Vintage Fresh Snow collection. As soon as it was released, we thought, okay, that's the one. Very, very popular collection. Great for a winter page, obviously. A little out of my general style. Ooh, I'm seeing lots of hearts. That's a good thing. I'm not really a sort of vintage flowery kind of person. I know they're not flowers, but the pines and stuff. So it was a bit of a challenge for me to work with it, but I was really happy with the end result. So, challenges are good. They kind of push you outside your comfort zone sometimes and make you try things that you don't normally try. So let's talk about the layout side first. So this is the single page layout. I don't know if we're going to get many new people that are jumping in. But basically, the reason we create the bundle the way that we do is for flexibility. So you can use it as a layout for your albums, just the single page layout, and be done there. You can still, within your album, turn it into a calendar style page. And you can purchase this add-on sheet, which is a blank calendar sheet. And you can kind of create a title page per se for each month. Or you can use a blank calendar, an actual wall calendar. We sell those in a 12 by 12 format. And this can go on the top of the calendar, which would be like your picture. And then below that, you would use your blank calendar to do something like this, or you can number it or whatever you want to do. So this concept had been in my brain for quite some time. And we ended up doing a planner for 5 years, kind of a different format, but, calendar based. But then we kind of decided to collapse that. And this is what we started instead. So this is we're going into our third year with this, and everybody is loving it. We have like close to 100 people a month that do this adventure with us. And we're thrilled to continue it through 2025. So that being said, let's pull out the bundle for this month. So this month, the base supplies will include a sheet of the Snug and Warm plaid cardstock. a sheet of the aspen/white notebook paper. So well, here, I'll show you both sides. So this is the reverse side of the plaid. We will be using, or I used, the brown. And then this is a staple in our store, these wood grain papers from Simple Stories. On one side, they have like a notebook style print, and then on the other side, they have a wood grain. And there's several of the wood grains in the family, but we chose to use this one this month. And then you're also getting a full pack of the floral bits from the Simple Stories Fresh Snow collection, as well as half of a package of the enamel dots, and then also some custom die cuts for the title. So that is all included in your January bundle. There's also a color photo of the finished layout, and you will also get a QR code on your bag that you can scan with your phone or tablet that will bring you right back to this video. So whether you work on the page right away or whether you come back 6 months or 8 months or 12 months later to put the layout together, you just scan that QR code and it'll just bring you right back to this video. So you don't have to go searching through the archives to find it. So that will all come in your January bundle. And then there are add-ons. So things that I've added to my page that you may or may not have in your stash that you may or may not want to use. And that is your choice. I think scrapbooking and card making is a real personal journey. These pages I make for myself as well. I do still feel like I'm somewhat limited because I do have to make them doable for everybody. But we always say that it's your journey, not mine. So you get to choose what you want to add into your layout and what you don't. But I want to be as creative as I can be to inspire you and maybe push you outside your comfort zone and have you try things that you haven't tried before either. So that is the whole idea. But again, we can't include everything in the bundle or the bundles would be quite expensive. So we let you pick and choose what you would like to do. So you might notice that I did change up the font for our calendar die cuts this year. I think I ran with the last font for 2 years, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to change it up a little bit. So it's just slightly different. So the January die cuts are an add-on for the calendar, and they come in a little bag like this, and the colors are all coordinated to the collection. So you can purchase that little bag, and then if you're doing the calendar version, then you will have those for your calendar side. So there's the add-ons for that. Obviously the calendar paper, we just put in a big order with our supplier for this. So we have another huge ream of this paper coming in. So we will be well stocked for this year. And it is an add-on because not everybody is doing the calendar, and we don't want to put that into the bundle and then have people just throwing it away. So if you want to do this in your album, then you can purchase that sheet separately. And we do have a section on our online store. Right at the top, you will see the 2025 calendar series, and then you'll click that icon. And in there, you will see it all. Eventually, it'll be all divided up by each month. But right now, only January is in there. And all of the add-ons, the bundle and everything will be in that section. So you can just click there and do that. Now, some of the add-ons we order in based on purchase history. And that's a tricky thing to do because we never know what people are going to love and jump on. So we kind of estimate how many we're going to need. And we try to get those in. And if we do sell out, we will often put it into a pre-order status, and then you can pre-order, and then we will get in additional supplies based on the numbers that people are pre-ordering. So again, we try to do our best. We don't want to get stuck with 50 of something that people aren't going to be interested in buying. So we try to be reasonable about things, but a lot of thought goes into that. And again, we never know how popular things are going to be. We also run into challenges that although items are showing in stock when we create pages and we order, sometimes we hit a cap as well. And that did happen with one of the items that is a pre-order, is an add-on for this layout. I bought everything that supplier had. and it's now in a sold out status. So we are watching it, and as soon as it becomes available, we will get more. So that will likely go into a pre-order status. And again, that is something that is out of our control. We don't manufacture these products, so we can't possibly know how many they have in stock and so on. So anyways, we do our best in that area, but we always will be watching based on demand and order in more. So just remember that if you sit in secret, quiet craft room mode and don't say that you want something, we have no way of knowing that. So you need to email us or do the pre-order so that we know. And then we'll look after that for you. So January letters, calendar page. And then this month we are going to be using a foam glitter sheet. So this is foam paper. It's not really paper. Foam, I don't know what you call it. It's foam. And it's got glitter on it. It's from Spellbinders. The glitter doesn't come off. And I use that to cut out all of these snowflakes. So rather than just using white paper or glitter paper, I use the foam, and that gives it dimension as well. And if you've never worked with this, it die cuts beautifully with the metal dies that we use in our Big Shots and Spellbinders machines, Cuddlebugs and all of that. So if you want to have glittery snowflakes, you can purchase a sheet of this, and one sheet will do all the snowflakes that you need for the layout. Obviously, you're welcome to purchase multiples if you want to have something like this in your stash, but it is a lot of fun to use. So I did use that for all of the large snowflakes that you see here. And I did also use loose glitter. Now, if you know me, that is not something that I use very often. I did use glitter on the die cuts. I'm going to see if I can get the light to catch it. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but you can see that I've added glitter to those die cuts. And again, I am not a person who likes to use glitter. I find it to be a little bit messy, but this process was actually pretty easy, and I quite like how it turned out. And it is just enough shimmer and sparkle to tie the snowflakes and the season of winter kind of together. I really like how it turned out. And it wasn't that messy at all, and I'll show you some little tips and tricks that I have used with the die cuts. So that is an optional thing. You do not have to add the glitter if you don't want to do that, but it really does add a little bit of extra to your page. So that is something that is an add-on as well. Just checking my list here to make sure I'm getting everything. And then I used some things that I use pretty much every time, if not every time, most times, an edge distresser. So I distress the edges of this wood grain paper using the edge distresser. So again, it's optional, but it is something that I do. My distress ink in brown. So this is the walnut stain, and this style of applicator is how I apply that brown ink. And I use that on all the die cuts and then the edges of this wood grain paper. I feel like it just really softens and gives some texture to your paper, and I like how that looks, so I often use that. And then a Teflon bone folder. So again, this is an optional thing. I use rub-ons on my page, and the rub-on packages often come with a popsicle stick in it. I really, really like using a bone folder to apply the rub-ons. They go on very smoothly, and it's a very effective tool for that. I use my bone folder for all kinds of things, but this is the ones that I have in my stash and I use often. So this one is a bit larger. It's got sort of a tapered edge on here and then a pointed edge here. And then this one is in the shape of a pencil. So I use them both quite often, and they both work really well for applying rub-ons. So if rub-ons is something that you like to use, you might consider getting a bone folder, just a Teflon bone folder, just for ease of application. So that is something I added in there. A sanding block. I always use a sanding block for the edges of my photos. I'll just hold this up a little closer so you can kind of see. It may look like they have a little white border on them, but that is just because I've sanded the edges of them with my sanding block. So that is something that I do on every single page. What else? The ink that I used, over here on this page. It's just in this one little spot. That is Catherine Pooler's Tranquil ink. So it's sort of a lighter blue. Now we uploaded quite a few things to the add-on category in the form of inks, and there's lots of different shades of blue in there. I used a lighter blue on this section here, but you could bring in some of the darker blues to tie things in as well. So depending on what you have in your stash and what you want to purchase and what you plan to do over in this area, which we will get into as we get further into this conversation, you will want to kind of consider what shade of blue you want to use over here. Now, you might think that I actually took these photos specifically for this layout, but that is not the case. These photos, I'm actually scrapbooking 2024 now. This is my 2024 year. I know a lot of you will be doing 2025 as we go along. So the reason I do that is so that I am ahead of where we need to be. There's no possible way I can get through January of 2025 and create a layout and be live on February 9th or 7th. So I need to work on last year's photos. So these photos have been taken a long time ago. And I just sort of pick and choose with the photos that I have to work with what I've picked out to create with. Now, sometimes if the colors don't work right, I'll flip things to black and white and whatever, but I did not in this case. So because all these photos were taken outside, I don't know, winter photos tend to have a bit of a bluish tint to them, just with the reflection of the snow and everything. So it actually kind of worked out really nicely. With the colors in the papers and everything. And then I have this pesky little squirrel over here who was peeking through my office window one day. He really wanted to come inside. And I took some photos of him, and he's got that nice brown tone to him. So that's how the browns got pulled in. But depending on what you do over in this area, and maybe even depending on what photos you're using, it may help you decide what ink color to use, because you can even bring a brown ink over in this area as well. So we did put up several different shades of blue from different ink companies. So if you're looking for something to add as an add-on and do the layout, you can consider some of those colors. So but the one I used was the Tranquil, and that's this lighter blue that's over here. So that's that one. And then also a sheet of espresso color vibe cardstock is an option as well. So you'll notice behind this wood grain paper, I have a mat of brown. That is optional. You don't have to do that. I just thought for myself, it really popped this, this section off from the brown in the background. So if you want to do that, then you'll need to purchase a sheet of the espresso cardstock to do that. So I encourage you, while I'm going through all of these add-ons and the layout, to have a little notepad or a notebook next to you and jot down some of the things that I talk about that you might want to consider. Because when you go to order, I don't know about you, but when I go to order, sometimes I forget things. Even when I'm ordering from some of my suppliers, I think I have this idea that I want to put into play, but then when I get wrapped up in the ordering, I forget to order certain things. So I find it helpful when I'm watching videos and things to write some notes down to refer to when I go to place my order. So definitely kind of get in the habit of doing that. And that way you won't forget to order the things that you want to order. So that brown paper there is optional. It's not included in your bundle. So you can decide if you want to do that. Okay, so that is it for add-ons, except for a couple of things. The die that I use to make the snowflakes. So that is this die here. It's called Make a Snowflake. And it is from Tailored Expressions. Now this is the item that when we went to order, although they said they had lots in stock, they didn't. So we have some. Shelby, do we have any in stock now? I think we do. Maybe we don't. I forget. I think we do. And then I have a few more coming, but then I bought them out completely. So this is the item that is on our watch list for more to come available. And as soon as they do, based on the pre-order, we will order more in. Now, you may already have snowflakes dies in your stash. Yes, we have a few. Perfect. Okay, so you might already have snowflake dies in your stash. Snowflake dies are not a brand new item in the marketplace. So again, we ordered conservatively, even if we could get as many as we wanted to, because we think that people will have snowflake dies in their stash. Now, you might be looking to expand the number of snowflake dies that you have, or maybe you don't have any with this much variety. We also did a giveaway last weekend of a small snowflake die, which would work on this page as well. So if you happen to pick up the snowflake die last weekend, you could incorporate that into this page. Now, I loved the fact that they were different sizes and different shapes of snowflakes in this pack. So that was one of the reasons that I was really drawn to it. So again, I'll hold up my layout and you can kind of see the different shapes that the snowflakes are and the different sizes and how beautiful they look cut out in that foam paper with the glitter on it. So again, personal preference, but if you have a snowflake die, you could certainly make every snowflake look the same. But I wanted some variety, and that's why I really liked this pack. So this will go up when I'm done the live. And the other thing that is not included in your bundle are the rub-ons. You can do this layout without the rub-ons, and it would still look a lot like the one that I've done here. The rub-ons are kind of a level up thing. So this is the sheet of rub-ons that we have added as an add-on. And you will see all the snowflakes in the background are all done with rub-ons. These ones here, not the foam ones, the ones that are on the background paper. The word beautiful is a rub-on. And then over on this side, this here is a rub-on. Now, if you didn't get the rub-ons, this piece right here, you have tons of extra ephemera that I do not use on these pages that you could make some sort of cluster over here using that ephemera. So if you decide not to get rub-ons, that doesn't mean that this is going to be completely open. Certainly you could fill it in with more photos, but if you wanted some sort of element over here, you could definitely create another cluster similar to the ones that are on this page and tie that over here. That's your choice. I did bring in the snowflakes over on this side, and then you will notice that on my photos, I've also added rub-ons directly onto the pictures. So that is a technique that that I use the rub-ons for. Again, can you do the layout without the rub-ons on the photos? 100%. We've done layouts all along without rub-ons on the photos. So it is an optional item. And this will also be added when the video is done. We did not put them up in advance. So those two items are also add-ons. Now, this is where I want to bring in, would look great to pull over a cluster. Definitely, like to create another cluster. I'm going to go through the ephemera that we do use when I go through all the details on the layout, and I'm going to show you how much you have left over. So there's tons of ephemera left over if you want to make a cluster over here. And Shelby's right, it would tie in that whole pine theme over here. And depending on what photos you're using, it might work better for you to do that. For me, I have a lot of photos of my littles outside, you know, building snow forts and being tobogganing and things like that. So I thought the hot chocolate thing was kind of fun. The rub-ons have a couple of themes you can go with. So they have kind of like this hot chocolate theme going on. They have this beautiful deer. They have another pine cluster here. They've got a beautiful like candle lantern. And then they also have the ice skates. So there's a lot of different, and the mittens. So there's a lot of different directions you can go with the rub-ons. It also has some larger words. So like Winter Wonderland, you could put that over here instead of the word beautiful. You know, there's lots of different ways you can approach it. So lots of flexibility with either the rub-ons or the leftover ephemera. So whichever way you decide to fall with that is great. I really loved the rub-on idea. And they can definitely be layered. So you can rub rub-ons on top of rub-ons. And you can also put them on your photos. So back in the day when digital scrapbooking was kind of a big thing, I really admired layouts that I saw, or even photos that people printed that had words on them. And this really gives you that illusion of having your photo printed with words on it just by putting the rub-ons on. So keep that in mind moving forward when you are doing your scrapbooking, that to not overlook rub-ons in different collections, because they're great to rub right over top of photos. Okay, I think that is all of the add-ons and things that I need to talk about there. I think. Okay. So Shelby has probably also added the color, the cardstock colors that are in our January title in as add-ons as well. Because I know some people like to mat their photos. So if you want to choose coordinating colors that will tie in with the title, we've probably included those cardstock colors in the add-on section as well. Yep, I know. See, I used to sort of say this halfway through the video and she'd go, oh crap, and then she'd have to quickly add them. So she's getting smarter now and she's anticipating that. I'm going to tell everybody that. So these colors will also be in there for you to purchase if you want to as well. Okay, so that's that. Now let's go through some of the details on the layout. We are going to talk about the Snug and Warm paper, which is the plaid. I love that name, eh? Snug and Warm. And it does feel very cozy. I love this plaid. Yeah, Shelby's got me all figured out. So this plaid is actually going to stay as a 12 by 12 piece of paper. So you're going to cut the barcode off, and that's going to become the background on your page. Now, in other months, I have shown you how you can cut the center out of the cardstock and use it to mat photos or just to cut down on bulk. I did not do that because I didn't plan on using this plaid anywhere else on the layout. But if you want to, you have the option of cutting the center part out, so the part behind here, right out of your cardstock. And you can go back and watch previous calendar videos where I've done that and I show how that's done. But if you want to do that, the only thing is, I think a lot of times I leave like a 1-inch border. You're going to have to leave a little bit deeper border. I would probably go with a 2-inch border all the way around. And then this piece will fit nicely on top of that. And then you can cut out the part that gets covered up. And that'll give you a little extra plaid if you want to do something like that. So if you want to bring that brown plaid over onto this side, you could possibly use it to mat some of your photos. Or create a little swatch or whatever you want to do, you're welcome to do that. So that is all you're going to do with that one is just basically cut the barcode off and use it as your background over here. Now the wood grain paper, this one here, I have it so that the panels are running vertically. Okay, so if you want to do it like I've done it, that's what I did. So you want to make sure you're cutting it the correct way. Well, actually it doesn't matter. You're going to be cutting it into a square, but placing it the correct direction. So what you're going to do with that one, it's called the Aspen and White Notebook Paper. You're going to cut this piece so it measures 9.5 by 9.5. Okay, and that is going to create that square that goes right in the middle of your plaid paper. Now, if you want to cut the brown paper, like if you choose to buy that and you want to mat your wood grain paper with the brown paper, then you're going to cut the brown paper to measure 9 3/4 by 9 3/4. But that is optional. It's not included in the bundle. Okay. So that is the Color Vibe Espresso cardstock, and you would need a full sheet. And then you'll cut a 9 3/4 by 9 3/4 piece. And then you'll layer those two on top of each other, and then they'll go right in the center of your background. So that's really all the cutting that is involved in this layout. The rest is all photos, and that's going to depend on your pictures. So occasionally people start asking me, well, what are the measurements of all your photos? That is useless to you because what I want you to do is go on your own journey. Okay, so you have to pick out your photos and you have to decide how big or small you want them. I use a collage app on my phone, and when I'm creating these layouts, literally I'm throwing a bunch of pictures into some collages and printing them out. That's all I do. I don't pre-plan, what measurements they should be or anything like that. I just throw them all on there, print them out, cut them out, sand the edges, and then I start like moving them around and placing them how I think I want them to be on my layout. That's simply how I do it. And I kind of do them in clusters. So here is a cluster of photos of them with their snow fort and tobogganing. Here is my cluster of photos where the little squirrel was peeking in my window. And here are my cluster of photos for when we went snowmobiling. So that is how I break things up. And I literally just move them around until I'm happy with the placement. The nice thing about working with smaller photos and clusters is that I can create dimension as well. So this photo is popped up and so is this one. These two are flat down. So all of these are flat to the base. This one is popped up. These two are popped up and these are flat. So it kind of creates some elevation, and it makes it interesting to look at as well when you do your photos. So kind of play around with that a little bit. And I can tell you with these collages, I printed 3 4x6 photos in order, maybe 4 4x6 photos to do this whole layout. So it's a very easy thing to do. I do it right from my phone, and it just makes it super fun. So definitely play around with the collaging of your pictures and placement. So just, you know, again, I don't really give out the photo measurements because everyone's are going to be different. You might have photos that run horizontally where I have vertical ones, or vice versa. So just really go on your own journey and experiment and play with your photos, because it's the most fun part, really. So now we're going to talk about the ephemera that I used and where I used it. So in this package of ephemera, you have a lot of goodies in here. Now I've already pulled out the ones that we're going to be using from this. This is all the leftover ephemera. So there's definitely some larger pieces and clusters that you could pull over onto this side if you want to kind of mimic what you've got going on over here instead of doing the rub-on part. So that's all the leftovers, but I'm going to run through what I used where. So in this cluster at the top, you're going to look for the piece that looks like this. So it's a greenery piece that has no pine cones or anything on it. It's just a plain ephemera piece. And then there's another large one that looks like this. So it's got a larger pine cone here and then sort of a pointy one at the top. So that's where we're going to get those 2 pieces. Okay. And then you're going to look for this piece here. And that's the one that gets tucked in behind. So it's going to kind of go like something like this. Okay. So you're only going to see this top little piece. And then there are 2 longer pieces. I don't know what these are, but one of them is going to pop out here and the other one is going to pop out kind of down here. So you're going to kind of create that little arch that goes in the corner. And then I did add another pine cone on the top. That's this large one here. And that is everything that is in that area. The rest is the snowflakes that I've added. And you'll notice on my snowflakes, my foam snowflakes, I've added another snowflake die cut and an enamel dot. And those little snowflakes are these here. And these are all in the package of ephemera. So I layered them on top. Now, if you choose not to do rub-ons, you could not layer those snowflakes on there, and you could scatter some of those throughout your page as well. There won't be as many as I've used from the rub-on sheet, but it is something, so it is an option. And that is everything for that top cluster. And then in the bottom, right down here, there is one large piece that looks like this. Now, there's a couple that are kind of similar to this, so really make sure you're getting the one that I used. It's got the 2 pine cones here, and then there's just some small ones going off to the side. And that is the large piece that just kind of goes down right here in this corner. And then there are a couple of these greenery pieces that I have poking out here, along with a couple of these little pieces that I just kind of attached in there. And then I did add 1 pine cone on top and popped it up, just to give it a little bit of dimension. Same with this one up here. Okay, and then there is a little cluster. So in the die cuts, I used a snowflake for the O. So when you get your die cut package in your kit, there will be no O. It just says S, N, and W, and then the idea is to put a snowflake in the center there. Again, I layered a snowflake on top with an enamel dot, and then I just chose a little pine cone and a sprig to kind of come out the top of that as well. Now with the die cuts, I just glued them down. I had the benefit of being able to stack mine. I cut it out several times. So if you do want some dimension on that, you can just use your pop dots to pop it up. But that's all the die cuts that I used on that page. And like I said, you have all of this ephemera left that you could create a cluster over in this corner if you wanted to. Okay, now I am going to talk about using the foam paper with the snowflake dies. I'm going to show you how that works. And then I'm also going to demonstrate quickly how I did the glitter on my die cuts so that you can see how easy that is too. So to run the foam paper through your machine to cut out snowflakes, you do nothing different than you do when you run paper through. Okay, so here's a sheet of foam cardstock that I've already started. I'm just going to grab my snowflake dies. So far I have not cut apart these snowflake dies. I've left them as a whole piece because it's easy to just slap this down and get a whole bunch of snowflakes all at once. So I have not bothered to cut these apart yet. But what I am going to do is just cut out one snowflake here and show you how it would work. So I'm just going to take some scissors and cut out a piece of foam and just layer it over top of the snowflake I'm going to cut out. That way I can still keep my cluster intact, and I'll just kind of cover that. So I'm just going to run that through my die cut machine. I'll bring it over here. Oh. Okay, so I've got my Platinum 6, but any die cut machine will work the same way. And my plates. So we're simply going to do the same sandwich that you do with paper. We're just going to do it with the foam instead. Okay, so I've just got it underneath the snowflake that I want to cut out. So I went back and forth, but you probably don't have to. But it never hurts. You just want to make sure that your plates or your dies don't move when you do that. And then it's just going to have this snowflake impression in your foam. Now you just kind of wiggle it out. And it kind of flattens when you run it through your die cut machine, but that will puff back up again. So don't get too concerned about that. And if you have snowflakes that have like pieces on the inside that need to be pulled out, your tweezers are your best friend. You just reach in there and grab the piece and pull it out. And it just comes out real easy. Sure it does. It really does. So yeah, you don't have to fuss with it too much. You just reach in there and grab it and then just pull it right out. And then those little pieces can go in the garbage. But you're going to end up with a beautiful glittery white snowflake that has dimension. I'm just going to hold that up so you can see. And it's pretty cool. You can ink blend, you can Copic marker your foam. If you want to ink blend, I would probably ink blend first. So I'm just going to pull out, let's say you want, I don't know, what color snowflakes do you want? Like a darker blue? So let's pull out like some blueberry ink. And I'm going to grab a blending brush. And we are going to try that because I've actually inked glitter paper, like clear, like not clear, white glitter paper. And it works quite nicely. Is that purple or blue? Oh, here's blue. Okay, so we've got a dark blue. And I'm just going to add a bit of ink. So it's not going to get like a super dark color. Like this is a pretty dark ink, but it's not going on super dark. Now I don't want to get that all over my hands here. I'll hold it with this. But you can definitely change the color of your paper just by inking it. Now, I don't know, it's not super porous, so you might have to give it a little bit to dry. But now I'll just die cut out a smaller snowflake and we'll just see what that looks like. I'm glad you mentioned that, Cheryl, because it's definitely an option. If not for this project, maybe for something else. I'm just going to clean this off here so we don't make a mess on everything. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's just get this out of the way. This, bring the die cut machine back on. So again, that was blueberry ink, which is quite dark, and I'm still only getting that depth of color. So you can definitely tint it, but you're not going to get like super dark colors from that. And I'm just going to cut out a small snowflake here, and we'll see what that looks like. Okay, so let's see how this turns out. Okay, so here's the blue one and here is the white one. So you definitely can get some color by adding inks, and you can add whatever color inks you want. And you still get that shimmer and that glitter as well. So it definitely does work, but you're not going to get deep dark colors. It just doesn't grab the ink enough that is a thing. So definitely can do that. And then I'm just going to demonstrate quickly how I do the glitter on the die cuts. So I pulled out a sprig of greenery, and I also pulled out a little pine cone. And if you have a glue press, you're going to use that. Otherwise, you can use a glue pen or a glue, like a glue tube, anything that will dispense glue. Most glues dry clear, so you'll be able to use most of them. And if you don't have the glue I'm using, you're going to have to experiment with the glue that you have. I don't know if every glue is going to work, but I can show you what I did, and it worked very well. But I've lost my tweezers. Oh, here they are. Okay, so what I've got going on here is I actually have the embossing powders and the glitter, like the only glitter that I have in a container. I put them in containers for easy application. So for a while I was using my embossing powders where I would pour the embossing powder right from the jar onto a piece of paper, and then I would take it and, you know, dump it back in. I find that incredibly irritating. I don't know. There's, like I was telling the girls yesterday when I was doing the class, there's certain things when I craft that I find very irritating. That is one of them. And I noticed that Jennifer McGuire has containers for her embossing powder, and she uses like a little scoop or a triangle or something to get out her powder. So I thought, well, I'm going to try that. I'm going to see if it works. So I got these really cheap containers at the dollar store, and I'll probably end up replacing them because they're not very good. But I wanted to see if I liked the concept, and I very much like the concept. So in here, I store a little triangle tray, and here's all my glitter. Now, I likely will not be going to this glitter container very often because I'm not really a glitter person. But this experience was pretty positive for me, so I might add a little glitter here and there. You never know. But basically, to do it, you're just going to take your die cut, and whatever application of glue you're going to use, you're simply going to, you don't want to gob it on. You want to just get a very light application. And that's why the glue press is great, because you can really control how much glue you dispense. So I'm going to run a bead of glue right down the spine of my die, like the stem. And I'm literally randomly just going to smear glue around in different sections. Like, it's a very, very fine line, but I'm just kind of wiggling it along, branching off of that stem. Then I'm going to take this, and in this particular situation, I'm actually just going to dip the whole darn thing right into the glitter. Now, you can take, the whole idea is that you take this scoop and you pour it over, and then the excess just falls into your container. Now, by doing that, I'm just going to hold this up. Do you see that the glue or the glitter has attached itself to where the glue is? And it's just created kind of like snow on a branch. And if you smear your hand across this after it dries, glitter's going to come off. Like, I'm not saying that it's stuck there and it's never going to come off. It definitely is going to come off. But again, I've created my layout, and I had a little bit of glitter flying around on my desk. It wasn't too bad. But now that I'm done touching the layout, really not a lot is coming off. And once it goes into my page protector, it's going to be fine in there. So you have to decide if glittering is your thing, but it really does add a really nice sparkle to the branch, which is quite nice. I really like how it looks. Now, the pine cone, kind of a similar idea. I'm literally going to take my tweezers and hold it. And I'm just going to add glue kind of on the tops or bottoms, whatever you want to look at it, of where the little pine chunks start and finish. So just a little bit, I kind of hold it up there so you can see, just like that. And I'm just going to dip that into the glitter and tap off. And then you end up with that kind of look. Okay, so that's kind of what you're going for. And it just looks like snow has fallen and settled onto the areas of that pine cone. So yeah, that's exactly how it goes. Can you use embossing powder and ink instead of glue and glitter? Mary, you can give it a try. I have no idea. You've got lots of extra ephemera, and you could give it a try for sure. It might be less messy, but I don't know that you're going to get the same application. These are very, very sparkly. I don't know. I think the glitter is the best way to do it, to be honest with you, but you could give it a try and see what happens. The camera is not picking up the sparkle that this is getting. I'm trying to tip it in different ways to see if you can actually see, but it's pretty awesome. I was quite happy with the end result. And again, it really ties in with the foam glitter snowflakes. It really does look quite pretty. So if you think it looks nice on the layout when I show you on this video, just know that in person, it looks 1,000 times better because it always looks amazing. Like Amanda will send me pictures, and Christina sends me pictures of their cards as they're creating them. And I always think they look really cool. But then when they bring them in and I see them in person and you can see the dimension and the extra sparkle and all the fun things, it always looks so much better in person. So, but yeah, you can experiment. If you've got sparkling snow embossing powder, you can give it a whirl. But I think if I'm just thinking about it, I'm thinking the glitter is going to be a better option. But what do I know? I haven't tried the other way. So you can definitely give it a go. All right. Well, that's it, I think, for all of the instruction, measurements, chit chat about add-ons and so on. So I think that's a wrap on this. Lawn Fawn glitter is wonderful. Yes, and that is what I use. That's what I have in here is the Lawn Fawn Prisma glitter. The other glitter that we sell, and it works really nice. Let me see if I have a jar of it on my thing. Let me just scoot over here. I think I do. Yes, this one. Ugh. It's called Glamour Dust. It's also an extremely fine white glitter. Now this is just in its container. This is what the bottle looks like. Shelby, I don't know, do we have the glitter in stock that we have in the add-on section? I'm not sure. Again, glitter is not a new product. It's something that's been around a long time. I'm sure many of you have glitter in your stash. Sometimes the chunky glitter can look pretty cool too. So if we have people messaging us saying, I don't really have that kind of glitter. Oh, we do. Perfect. Then we can certainly get more in. I mean, it is something that we carry all the time, but we don't carry like, you know, extreme depth in it. So if we do run out and you didn't happen to get your hands on it, then just let us know and we'll make sure that we get it restocked quickly and you can grab some. So anyways, that's it. Shelby's going to activate the bundles and the extra add-ons in our section on our online store, and then you can shop your hearts out and enjoy the bundle. It's a wonderful page. We'll see you soon.